Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in the locker room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in the locker room with me, Billy Schwein, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with a Schweiner.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Hump Day Wednesday edition of Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Counting down the days to the Eagles back in the Super Bowl. And of course, we will get into it with a man who covered Andy Reid. Dave Weinberg will join us coming up for a Weinberg Wednesday in less than 20 minutes from now. As always, you can join the conversation as well at 609-403-0973 on the text board. And as we get closer and closer to the game itself, and I'll give you my thoughts on LeBron a little bit later in the hour, but we got to start with the Eagles, because the Eagles came out with their injury report today. As we get closer and closer, it's starting to look more and more like we may, or maybe not we, okay, we'll say certain people have basically completely whiffed on the health of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles injury report came out, and basically everyone is good to go. All right. You know, 3 guys were limited at practice, and it was both with the rest designation. Dickerson and Quinn are on the injury report because they were on the injury report last week, and they were full participants. So everyone's playing. And because everyone is playing and all things being equal, I can't get out of my head this comment that was made earlier today. So, you know, for those who don't know, just to paint the picture for you, when you come into this radio station here at 97.3 ESPN, we have a TV in our studio. And part of the reason why we have the TV is because when there's breaking news, we can grab audio from segments and interviews and stuff. So I saw that they were talking about the Eagles and the Chiefs on SportsCenter earlier today. And I found it very interesting, the comment that was made by Dan Orlovsky. Now, for those who may or may not remember, Dan Orlovsky loves the Jersey Shore. His wife is an Eagles fan, played in the NFL for basically a decade as a backup quarterback. And he made this comment about Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, and his game plan versus the Eagles offense. And I thought the comment was a bit eye-opening. So you listen to it for yourself, and we can all react together here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Dan Orlovsky earlier today on SportsCenter.
Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for Kansas City, I don't know if there's a better big game defensive coordinator in football than him. All we know is this guy designs phenomenal plans to attack offenses in Super Bowls. Think about the Giants, too, against New England. And you saw the plan last week against Joe Burrow. I think that he's going to sit there and go, I've seen Philadelphia win their 2 playoff games relatively easily. And we're going to get in the face of this run game. And we're going to press these receivers at the line of scrimmage. You know, Jalen's had this injury for the last 6 or 7 weeks that he got hurt with his shoulder in the Chicago game. He has not thrown the football well since then. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you're going to get in the face of these receivers, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. You're going to play physical at the line of scrimmage. You're going to stay as sticky as tight in coverage. And you're going to say, I want to see how healthy the shoulder is.
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me about that comment from Orlovsky was the comment he made about Spagnuolo at the beginning. I don't think that we've talked enough about the other coach in this conversation. We spent time talking about Nick Sirianni and Andy Reid. We spent time talking about Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. And depending on who you believe and listen to, the issue and severity with Jalen Hurts' shoulder changes from analyst to analyst, basically day to day. But what can't be ignored or denied is there is somebody we haven't spent time talking about, and that is Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo, former NFL head coach, by the way, has, as a coordinator, done a very good job, as Orlowski pointed out, as a coach. And as a coach, as a defensive coordinator, he has put together, as was noted, some great defensive plans, whether it was with the Giants against the Patriots or whether it was Kansas City against the Chiefs. And it's not like the Chiefs team that lost to the Buccaneers. It's not like that defense got totally shredded in that game. Because if you go back and actually break down the game, you realize that for all intents and purposes, that was a game at halftime. It was only 21-6 at halftime. The only other scoring that was done in the second half of that game was a Leonard Fournette touchdown and a Ryan Succop field goal. There were no points scored in the fourth quarter of that game. So that 31-9 score is completely misleading. That was the Bucs defense completely dominating the Chiefs O-line. So how concerned should we be that an experienced defensive coordinator who arguably might be one of the three best D coordinators the Eagles face all year is on the other sideline? A D coordinator that has big game experience, not once, not twice, but 3 times. It's something to think about. And I don't know if there's a right answer to this question because of the fact that, part of the perspective on Spagnuolo is based on the past. But what we do know is the Chiefs defense was actually one of the better defenses this year. Look, the Chiefs defense, while it wasn't a great scoring defense, it was very good in other categories, including total yards allowed. It was 11th best in the NFL, so it's right near the top of the league. And their defense also was a top 10 run defense. It was hard to run on their defense. And let's not overlook the fact that for as much as we talk about the Eagles and their pass rush, the Chiefs themselves had 55 sacks this year and 118 quarterback hits. So they got a pass rush too. So yes, the question that we will put out there is, how concerned are you that an experienced D coordinator is on the other side of the field and could limit what the Eagles like to do? Now, we know the weakness of the Chiefs defense. Josh Hennig here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. And you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We know that the Eagles can take advantage of the Chiefs secondary because it's not their strength. But will Jalen Hurts have enough time to get the ball to A.J. Brown, to Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins on a deep ball? We know Hurts has all the talent to do these things, but does he have the actual time to execute the offense? Yesterday I asked Dave Klemick, former Chiefs wide receiver and Mainland Regional alumni, about Chris Jones, the guy on the other side of the field for Kansas City. That's what Dave Klemick told me yesterday on 97.3 ESPN.
Chris Jones, he's great at moving the quarterback without having to even dive tackle him. Like, he can stand up and grab him by the arm, grab him by the shirt. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to do that, like, diving linebacker tackle. And he could just stand in there and grab you because he's so big. The thing is that those arm tackles that he pulls down, like smaller or skinnier quarterbacks, it's not going to have that same issue with Jalen Hurts, who's 230 and can run a 4.5. That he doesn't get arm tackled very often. So I don't see him just falling down to a standing tackle. He's going to break through those. So Chris Jones, he may get to the quarterback here and there because he's just that good, but he's not going to be able to make those standing tackles.
So basically, the centerpiece of the Chiefs defense may not be as effective against someone like Jalen Hurts, according to Dave Clement. So does that negate what Steve Spagnuolo can do in the biggest game of the year? This Sunday, you could hear the action right here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins following Flyers hockey. Flyers are playing the Seattle Kraken at 1 p.m. And then we'll go right to Super Bowl 57 coverage thanks to West One Sports. So which is it? Is it Spagnuolo is a great coordinator and he's going to be able to limit the Eagles' offense? Or is the most important player on that defense, Chris Jones, not going to be as effective against Jalen Hurts as he is against other quarterbacks? Two completely different questions, two completely different scenarios, and two things I just don't have the answer for. Because I'm conflicted. On one hand, I totally see where Orlovsky's coming from. I see that, hey, Steve Spagnuolo has experience in the biggest game of the year. He has shown the ability to limit and slow down other teams' offenses. But then I also see that Chris Jones is the centerpiece of that defense, and nobody on that defense, from Frank Clark to Nick Bolton to any of those guys, are as effective if Chris Jones isn't doing what he is doing up front. And if Jalen Hurts is a bad matchup for Chris Jones, as Dave Clement pointed out, how effective can the Spagnuolo defense be? And as I told you guys before, I have been completely confused about exactly where this game is going. Because I can see both sides of the argument. I can see this being a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game. I'm not convinced. I know some people are very strong one way or the other, but I'm not on the total of the game because, to me, I think this is a close football game. And I think that a turnover here or there, a missed third down here or there, a missed tackle here or there, these are the things that are going to make or break this game. And so as I break it down and I think about the impact that Steve Spagnuolo could have on this game, and the fact that, don't forget, he learned football under Jim Johnson. So, could Spags be the reason why the Eagles don't go home with a championship? You know, I don't think that the Chiefs' defense is a great defense, but I think they're good enough. I think they're good enough to win a championship. I don't think they're anywhere as deep and as talented as the Eagles' defense is. But look, this is a team that was one of the better teams in the NFL this year. And it wasn't just because of Patrick Mahomes. There were multiple games this year that the Chiefs' defense showed up and did their job. Look, whether it's the Seahawks game, whether it is the Raiders matchup, whether it was the Jacksonville win, the overtime winner of the Titans, even their victory over the Bengals in the playoffs, you could credit the defense in many of those instances. And yes, there are the games that did allow a lot of scoring, like the Tampa game, like the first Raiders game of the year. The defense over the last several weeks has played really well. They've given up only 20 points in their 2 playoff games. And in the month of November, they didn't give up 20 points 3 different times. So it's an interesting conversation. We'll be talking about it throughout the week. here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the 97.3 studios as Mike Gill and the team are out at Radio Row. Of course, Mike Gill will be back on tomorrow, 2 to 6 p.m. for more great interviews with the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up next here on Game Night, it's a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg, longtime Eagles beat writer, joins me next.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action.
He's in the right circle. He scores! On the power play.
It's Flyers Oilers tomorrow. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, proud partner of your Philadelphia Eagles. Enjoy our ultimate to-go catering. Full pan of Chicky's wings, half pan of classic cheese sticks, 2 pizzas, and of course, a full pan of our world-famous crab fries. Reserve now. chickiesandepete's.com/big game.
This Valentine's Day, send your sweetheart the gift that shines above all others. Name a star after them. I'm Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, we will name a star after your sweetheart and send a beautiful gift package. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com for this year's hottest Valentine's Day gift.
And now, a poem for all you lovebirds out there. Getting down on getting down. Some cars are red, others are blue. Trade in your old car and drive something new.
Fall in love with your new Nissan at Matt Blatt Nissan with 0% financing for 36 months, 0 payments for 45 days, and 0 money down.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
So bring any trade because AJ, the trade man, wants to buy your vehicle today, regardless of the make, miles, or condition. AJ pays cash. Then treat yourself to a brand new Nissan Altima, Pathfinder, or Rogue, all with 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest. And only Matt Blatt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy. MattBlattNissan.com. Rate qualifications exist with approved credit $27.78 per thousand. Finance on in-stock 2023 Rogues. Pathfinder Ultima. Not all will qualify. Go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details or call 844-917-4758. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. VIN PC 739-900. Rogue S. MSRP 31,185. DOC 589. Sell price 31,774. Expires 3/3/23. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
Hey, it's Mike Gill for Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals, where they have a unique industry-leading program to help you replace your old furnace and air conditioner for less than $100 a month. That's right. Replace both your heating and air conditioning systems for one absolutely affordable price. And the timing couldn't be better because heating costs are higher than ever as your systems age. They become less efficient, costing more to operate and making repairs more expensive too. And of course, you want to maintain the comfort in your home during the cold and hot weather. Contact my friends at Ambient Comfort and save money and energy with a new high-efficiency home comfort system, furnace and air conditioner installed for less than $100 a month. When comfort matters, visit AmbientComfortNJ.com. That's AmbientComfortNJ.com. Certain restrictions apply. Call for details. 609-568-0955. Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals. 609-568-0955. Tell them Mike Gill sent you.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
At Ocean First Bank, our first thought is you. We put you first in all we do. Community banking for a century. We treat you like your family. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Start the year off with a CD rate that, well, rates. For a limited time, we're offering a 13-month term for 4.5% APY with as little as $10,000. Don't delay. Visit oceanfirst.com for complete details.
Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Certain rules and restrictions apply. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Hi, Merrill Reese from Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism in Sea Isle City. The Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism has been promoting awareness and raising funds for special service schools and families of special needs children. Come join over 5,000 participants in the 5K race and the Family Fun Walk, followed by a huge after party. Join us in huge heated tents where they'll have great food, unbelievable door prizes, and the award ceremony. The party is not just for runners and walkers, it's for the entire family. They'll have clowns, superheroes, and face painters for the kids. For more information or to register, go to polarbearrunwalkforautism.com.
Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism is Saturday, February 18th at JFK and the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Registration is from 9:30 to 11:30. Run Walk starts at noon.
Any day you can do something for children with disabilities, it's a good day.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. Yes, when you call my friends over at Jenkins, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, gas furnaces, boilers, whatever you need done, Jenkins has got you covered. You know, it's February now, and we're kind of in that zone where things are getting warm and cold again. You might need your system checked. From new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, leak repairs, and more. Call Jenkins at 609-641-6262 and online at jenkinsandsons.com. It's a Weinberg Wednesday, which means Dave Weinberg joins us now. And one of the things we'll talk about, Dave, is not just, you know, the regular part of the game, but his perspective on the game as somebody who covered Andy Reid. Dave Weinberg joins us now here on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, I hope you're feeling better this week.
I'm actually still fighting a cold, but I'm doing a little bit better. Yeah, it's just this weather's really wreaking havoc with me. But
what we're going to say is it's Andy Reid and the Eagles' fault, right? That
that's right.
Around. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I did manage to get in 18 holes today, so it's okay.
Oh, well, you got more fresh air than I did, so lucky you. So
I thought you'd be out in Arizona. No,
I'm not that special, man. You know,
okay.
I'm operations essential. I mean, I'm more important than I am special.
Okay, I gotcha.
So talk to me about Andy Reid, because I thought it was an interesting comment made earlier today, because Mike Gill had Dhani Jones on earlier at Radio Row. And
Okay.
Dhani said that he's seen an evolution in Andy Reid, the person and the coach, from the way Andy was in Philadelphia to who he is now in Kansas City. What do you think of that comment, Dave?
I don't know like what he's like really in Kansas City. I can just tell you what he was like here. He kind of evolved when he was here, to tell you the truth. And people remember when, his first year, he made a lot of controversial moves, cutting Brian Finneran after the first game or so, after he dropped a big pass, made George Hegeman push a blocking sled around the field in front of everybody, kind of like an embarrassing thing for him. And, but yeah, I think he's matured a little bit, a lot actually, and he's more of a business-like, but he knows how to have fun too with the team. You can tell that the team really loves playing for him, and it's nice to see that he's got this opportunity again to win another Super Bowl.
When you mentioned about what he did here in Philadelphia, in many ways, he was not just the start of this era of Eagles football, but he was also the first time, if Jeffrey Lurie doesn't get that hire right, like the whole Eagles franchise looked at differently, right? Like, it's the fact that he got Andy right, that when he fired Chip Kelly, Eagle fans gave Laurie a chance. You know what I mean? Like, if you had gotten Andy wrong, I feel like people would have been like, well, Ray Rhodes didn't work out and Andy Reid didn't work out. Well, what's this guy doing?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I don't know that Ray Rhodes didn't work out. It was just I've really felt bad for Ray back then. I mean, obviously been a long time, but you know how certain guys are just meant to be coordinators,
Right.
and that was him. I think Ray was an excellent defensive coordinator. I mean, outstanding, but just didn't have the temperament to handle being a head coach. He just wasn't able to delegate authority very well. I mean, it seemed like he was way too emotional for that kind of job. But where Andy's more, not laid back, but he's more even keeled, I guess. And you have to be if you're an NFL head coach. You can't get too high or too low, and you have to be willing to make the really difficult decisions sometimes. And Ray would kind of take those things like really personally. Andy, I got to give him a lot of credit. I don't know if you guys, I guess you guys recall the TO era. I don't know how many coaches would have been able to handle what happened in 2005 with the, all the drama, sending him home from training camp, and it was essentially like throwing him off the team after the game in Denver for the rest of the year. And there were court battles in Philadelphia and all kinds of a birthday party at the 40/40 club in Atlantic City, and it was just like such a bizarre time. And
yeah,
but to give Andy credit, he really was able to weather all the storms, and that's a credit to Jeffrey Lurie too. I guess he evidently saw something in Andy that maybe some other people didn't, because he had never had that experience before. But everything obviously worked out for the better there.
Speaking of coaches and coordinators, one of the guys who I don't think we talked enough about this, we had talked about him before you came on, Dave, was Steve Spagnuolo. And this is a guy now who he wasn't a good head coach. We all know that.
Correct.
But he's been a pretty good defensive coordinator. He's now been the D coordinator in multiple Super Bowls. Of course, the famous one with the Giants that we all remember, and now with the Chiefs. Do you think Spagnuolo has what it takes, we'll call it? Is he enough of a quote-unquote big game coordinator coach to limit the Eagles' offense, or does he not have the personnel?
Oh, that's a tough call, Josh. I mean, I think he's got the ability to do it. I mean, he's a very creative mind. I mean, he'll be able to scheme up things that will undoubtedly have an effect on the game on Sunday. Whether he can stop the Eagles, probably not, but I think he can slow them down enough to where Patrick Mahomes and company could maybe have a little bit more success than Jalen Hurts and his crew. I don't know. The Eagles are stacked offensively. There's no question about that. Everybody knows that. But I have a feeling that Steve will come up with some creative things that maybe the Eagles haven't seen before, and maybe that'll frustrate them a little bit. I mean, it's hard to imagine them not scoring at least 24, 25, or 28 points. But I think I don't see them scoring like 40 or anything like that, like some people do.
I'm just conflicted because Dave,
I understand. Sure.
For me, like I'm listening, I had Dave Klemick on yesterday, and he's talking about how like the Eagles have like 3-4 layers to their offense that most teams don't have. And then on the flip side, I'm listening to a guy like Devin Kennard, who was on the Cardinals when they played the Eagles back in, what was it, week 5? And he's saying that he didn't think the Eagles offense was all that impressive. So it's like, I got these, like all these different perspectives in my ear, and I'm trying to decipher, who's being an honest analyst and who's just being Julian Love of the Giants.
I don't know. I think I might trust the guy who actually played against them more. He has more of a insider's viewpoint on it, I guess. The Eagles have a juggernaut on offense. They do, but they did lose 3 games. I know granted Gardner Minshew was the quarterback for 2 of them, but I still think that I don't think they're invincible like some people would have you believe. I mean, they are impressive. They unquestionably are, but I think there's a way to at least control them a little bit. I mean, I don't have the answer, but I think guys get paid a lot of money to do it, so maybe Spags will come up with something.
Dave Weinberg joins us for another Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. You can follow him on Twitter at Weinberg19. His extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. And I can only imagine what your observations from the couch are going to be after this game on Sunday. I got a feeling that might be the most entertaining one all year, Dave.
Actually, I won't be on the couch. I'll be in Florida.
Oh,
but it'll be entertaining for sure.
Will you be on a couch in Florida?
Possibly. I don't know. I'll either be, I don't know if the bar will have a couch. Maybe they will. I don't know.
Well, either way, we do have someone who sent in a question for you
sure.
specifically.
Really? Okay.
Mike in Ocean City.
Okay.
Says, if you don't mind, could you ask Dave Weinberg how much does he think coaching matters for this Eagles team? I know that Dave is not a Sirianni fan, but what are Dave's thoughts on the staff and the culture for the Eagles now that they're in the Super Bowl? That's from Mike in Ocean City.
Thanks for the question. First off, I think coaching matters. I definitely do, and I think the coordinators will have a big impact here. And I also think the position coaches will too. They have a very big and very large influence on the players, and particularly Jeff Stoutland. I mean, he's the best offensive line coach in the league, no question about it. And he oversees the best offensive line in the league. So I think that they'll definitely be ready to play. It's kind of hard to say like what I'm not a fan of Nick's, as you know, but the players like him, and that's all that matters, really. I mean, they enjoy playing for him. They seem to have bought into what he's preaching. But ultimately, it's up to the coordinators to devise the game plans and execute, and have the players execute them. So the players seem to be big believers in those guys too. So I think coaching does matter, but at the end of the day, of course, it's the players that have to execute what the coaches are trying to give them.
Well, let me say this, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. But I think that two things can simultaneously be true. I think that you can say, "Hey, Sirianni's not my cup of tea," and simultaneously said, "Hey, he's done a good job." Like I feel like those both can simultaneously exist, right?
Absolutely true. Yes. But if you're going to put me on the spot, I'm taking Andy Reid over Nick Sirianni in this kind of game.
Well, I think most people are going to take a future Hall of Famer over whoever the other coach is.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, right.
By the way,
I've been telling anybody that wants to listen. I mean, and I know I've been catching a lot of flack of it, the way that I think the Chiefs might win this, and I just think experience matters, and it doesn't always. 2017, for example, but I think that in this case, the fact that they've been there, they know how to deal with the hype and all that stuff. I just think that that's going to come into play. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Andy and those guys will.
For what it's worth, every time the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, they face a future Hall of Fame head coach.
True.
True. It was Tom Flores with the Raiders, Belichick twice, and now it's Andy Reid. So, I mean, read into that what you want. And by the way, every time they've been in the big game, it's been with a different head coach. It was Vermeil, it was Reid, it was Peterson, and it was Sirianni. So, I mean, who really knows with some of this stuff, right?
That's very true. Yep. So many strange things can happen, unpredictable things. Yep. Absolutely true.
What has been your favorite and least favorite storylines popping up this week?
If I got to hear about the Kelsey brothers one more freaking time, I'm going to stab myself. I got it. I know they're brothers and they're playing against each other. Can we just please give it a rest here? I mean, I'm just jeez Louise. And my favorite one, well, just from a local standpoint, just the fact that Isaiah Pacheco's in the game, and not only in the game, but expected to play a very large role for the Chiefs. I think I saw it on your website that there's some people that think he's like the X factor for the Chiefs offense, which is really cool. I mean, the kid, like we've talked about before, you and I, his upbringing, the way what he's the adversity he's overcome, and the fact that he's really playing well for the Chiefs as a rookie running back. I just think that's a fantastic thing, and I'm really rooting for the kid.
Yeah, and for those folks who didn't read the story, you can read the whole thing at 973ESPN.com. But part of the premise of the story is that people in the Chiefs organization came into this year assuming Clyde Edwards-Helaire was going to be a major piece of that offense. The dude has barely played most of the year, and Pacheco basically just stepped right into that role, didn't even flinch. And now people like me are sitting here telling people to bet anytime touchdown for Isaiah Pacheco on the week of the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Now either I'm nuts or maybe he will. We'll find out on Sunday. But, but still, it's so interesting because back to Andy Reid. Isn't this part of who Andy is, though? Like, Andy finds guys and makes them into something sometimes. People forget that Brian Westbrook was not a first-round pick.
No, third round. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So it's like Andy has a history of taking guys and them turning into things. For goodness, Jason Kelce was a 6th-round pick, and now he's a future Hall of Famer.
Right. Jason Kelce, Trenton Cole's a 5th-round pick. He's the Eagles sack leader, I believe, or very pretty close to behind Reggie, of course. But yeah, there were guys up and down that throughout his tenure that were either not first-round picks or they were undrafted free agents that really went on to play significant roles for a year or two or even longer. And yeah, I mean, of course, Donovan McNabb was the key. The fact that everybody ties a coach to the quarterback like they're doing with Nick and Jalen, and it's just but Andy actually went through several quarterbacks, of course, with after Donovan left. But anyway, yeah, he knows how to find talent, but he knows how to find it when a lot of people aren't or don't know where to look. That's a credit to the Eagles coaching staff. I mean, scouting staff too, though. But yeah, Andy had a big influence in that. No question about it.
If the Eagles win another Super Bowl, what do you think is going to be the reason why they won when we talk about it the next day?
Boy. The defense is going to score. We'll have to score a touchdown, I think. I think that the defense is the one that's going to win the game for them. They have to find a way to contain Patrick Mahomes. He's the best player on the field. I think no question about it. So the Eagles will be able to contain him, or at least keep him under wraps to a point. Then I think the Eagles win the game.
Interesting, because I feel like if the Eagles win, it comes down to one thing, Dave, and I may be wrong about this, but I think it's purely just if they don't beat themselves, because every game that they've lost this year, Washington 4 turnovers. Cowboys at Christmas Eve, 4 turnovers. Saints lost. Gardner Minshew with that stupid pick 6 interception with his back against the red zone. I feel like the only team that beats the Eagles is the Eagles this year.
Really? Okay. All right. Okay, I think the Chiefs are a different animal, but I can understand your reasoning.
Well, I mean, yeah, they got that guy Pat Mahomes to help, so.
Yeah. Just by the way, right?
Right, just by the way, that guy over there. Hey, listen, I'm not asking you about the Kelce's. I'm asking you about Mahomes and other things.
Thank you. Maybe they'll be back in Seattle City this summer, and we can revisit this again.
Oh, I know they'll be back in Seattle. They've already said that on their podcast.
Oh, really? Oh, okay,
yeah.
Cool. Then we have something to talk about then.
Yeah, I do listen to their podcast. It's just this week. So this week is a 2-hour plus episode where they're talking to their parents, and I honestly bailed after like 30 minutes. I'm just like, this is not interesting anymore.
I got you. Yeah, I bailed days ago.
Because the thing for me, Dave, is the fact that I love hearing former players' analysis. Whether it is the Kelce's or a Jason Avant, a Quentin Michael on their podcast, or whoever it may be. I'm always intrigued to listen to how these guys look at the game. But at some point, you're just like you said, all right, we've heard enough. They're brothers. They have a mom. They have a dad. They're from Cincinnati.
Right. Oh, Quentin Michael's a perfect example of he was undrafted free agent right over his career with the Eagles. Sheldon Brown, 3rd-round pick. Yeah, they've had a lot of them.
Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday at Dave Weinberg, 19 extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. And he will be in Florida watching the Eagles and the Chiefs this Sunday in Super Bowl 57.
Who are you picking, Josh?
Eagles.
Okay. Easy or close?
I think it's a close game. I can't buy into these people who keep telling me the Eagles are going to win by 3 touchdowns and stuff.
No.
I don't see it. I don't see a game where it doesn't come down to, this sack or this fumble or this interception or this third down conversion not made or this guy drive. I feel like it's going to be a couple small things that turn the game for the Eagles, and they'll eventually pull it out. And I think that they'll have to fight tooth and nail for it before the end of the game.
Okay. Oh, just one thing real quick. My wife always calls me a hater. She just thinks because I pick against them and there's a big difference. I keep telling people there's a difference between what I hope will win, what I hope will happen, and what I think will happen. I mean, I certainly do. I hope the Eagles win. Yes, I have a lot of friends and family that are Eagles fans. Years of covering the team, I've kind of turned a unbiased eye towards it, and I have a tough time rooting for anyone really. So, but is it good for the area? Is it good for everybody? Yes, of course. But do I think they're going to win? No, I don't.
Listen, the best case scenario for everyone is if Isaiah Pacheco has 2 touchdowns, 100 yards rushing, and the Eagles win by 3.
There you go. Although
everybody wins.
I took the Chiefs and 1.5, but I don't know, whatever. I'm more concerned with my block pools.
Dave, take care of yourself, and we'll talk next week.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Enjoy the game. I'll talk to you next week.
And, of course, you can hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins this Sunday around 4 p.m. For those who don't know, the Flyers game got rescheduled. So the Flyers Kraken game was supposed to be at 12. The Flyers have changed the game to 1 o'clock, and apparently they're having a big a tailgate thing for the Eagles where they're inviting people to come out, drink green beer at the game, and stay in basically the arena by either going to Xfinity Live or any of the restaurants and bars in the Wells Fargo Center. They're inviting people basically, if you get a ticket to the Flyers game, you can hang around and watch the Eagles game in the Super Bowl right afterward. So Flyers are this Sunday at 1 o'clock, and then we will have that game here on 97.3 ESPN, Flyers and Kraken, and then we'll go right into Super Bowl coverage right afterward here on your home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers. 97.3 ESPN FM. Don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. More your thoughts and texts on the other side. We'll get answered folks like Scott and Galloway coming up next.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
And he jams it. He weaved through the midcourt, got by Whiteside, and hammers it in with a right-hand dunk.
The Sixers are in Boston to take on the Celtics. Coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime. One dime down at Springfield Mitsubishi of Atlantic City. Every vehicle, only one dime down. SpringfieldMitsubishiAC.com.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, proud partner of the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. Join us to watch the Eagles in the big game. Nobody does it like Chickies and Pete's. Enjoy one of our big game, all-you-can-eat packages that include guaranteed seating and immediate entry. Feast on our mouth-watering snow crab legs and Chickies and Pete's favorites like mussels, shrimp, world-famous crab fries, Chickies wings, and more. Plus, ice-cold draft beer and house wines. Space is limited. Reserve now at chickiesandpete's.com/big game. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, proud partner of your Philadelphia Eagles. Let Chickies cater your big game celebration. Enjoy our ultimate to-go catering. It's everything you want to watch the game. Full pan of Chickies wings, half pan of classic cheesesteaks, 2 pizzas, and of course, a full pan of our world-famous crab fries, all wrapped up and ready to go. Click chickyandpete's.com/big game to reserve your ultimate to-go package. Nobody does Eagles game day like Chickies and Pete's.
Some people are easily moved.
Wasn't that just the saddest movie ever?
Whatever. Others, not so much.
Oh, look at the puppies!
Just dogs, but smaller, so what? But even those who aren't easily moved.
Look, your long-lost brother's been found.
Oh, hi, Mike. Can be moved by us. Yeah, we're that good.
Use Clark's Moving and Storage in Rio Grande for your next local or long-distance move. Visit Clark's Moving and Storage online at clarksmoving.net.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur with words from another happy customer.
Atrius Software Accounting is amazing. I was able to see where's all my expenses going, where's the revenue, which month had more revenue, affordable and easy to use.
Visit us at patriotsoftware.com.
With patriotsoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your... so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
At Ocean First Bank, our first thought is you. We put you first in all we do. Community banking for a century. We treat you like your family. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Start the year off with a CD rate that, well, rates. For a limited time, we're offering a 13-month term for 4.5% APY with as little as $10,000. Don't delay. Visit oceanfirst.com for complete details.
Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Certain rules and restrictions apply. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Listen up, New Jersey and Philly car buyers. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi has only 3 questions for you. Do you have a job? Yes. Do you have 99 cents? Yes. Do you want a new car? Yes. Why would you buy a used car or pay high interest rates? If you have a job clearing $350 per week, Matt Blatt Mitsubishi wants to approve you. So bring any trade and drive home in a brand new Mitsubishi, like the all-new 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander with 99 cents down and 2.9% financing, plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty for the price of most used cars with only 99 cents down. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi keeps the rates low, and with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy, you can't go wrong. Simply Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $27.78 per 1,000 finance on in-stock 2023 Mitsubishi Outlanders. Not all will qualify. Go to mattblattmitsubishi.com for complete details or call 844-946-2315. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 3/3/23. Matt Blatt Mitsubishi in the heart of Glassboro for 30 years.
This is the radio home for Eagles playoff football with the legendary voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese and Mike Quick, calling all the play-by-play action.
Here comes the rush. They've got him. Sack number 1. Hassan Reddick.
Wow. Philadelphia Eagles football on 97.3 ESPN is brought to you by
the D'Amato Law Firm, the Piccalilli Inn, First Bank of Sea Isle, EMT Solar and Roofing, Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union, Jenkins Plumbing and Heating, GMS Law, Cape Regional Health System, Sun Valley Pool, BMW of Atlantic City, Boardwalk Honda, and Clark's Moving and Storage.
This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
97.3 ESPN FM is your official home in South Jersey for Eagles football.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Don't forget, tonight we got Sixers versus Celtics. The Sixers' final game before the NBA trade deadline, which is tomorrow afternoon. We'll find out if the Sixers make any deal before the deadline. Tomorrow night on Game Night, by the way, Keith Pompey, Sixers beat writer for Philly.com, the Philadelphia Inquirer. He will join us tomorrow night to recap what did or didn't happen with the Sixers at the deadline. But tonight they are in Boston. They take on the Celtics. You hear Tom McGinnis on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973. Scott in Galloway chimes in and says, is Patrick Mahomes' ankle going to be a problem, or is 2 weeks long enough to cure a high ankle sprain? That's from Scott in Galloway. Scott, here's the problem, is that this is a perfect example of how sometimes in sports, we don't actually know what's going on. And I'm not saying that to be dismissive of your question. I'm just being completely honest with you, because the problem is with Mahomes and his ankle. The typical timeline for recovery for an injury like that is 8 weeks. Well, he injured it in the Jags game. So he's now only had basically what is the equivalent of 3 to 4 weeks, depending on where you start and stop the week each week. He's got 3 or 4 weeks of recovery. That's half the what it's supposed to take for that injury. And by the way, same thing for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was supposed to have a 8 to 10 week recovery, right? And he's basically right around that number right now, because he's right around what it should have taken for him to recover. And I don't know who to believe anymore, because depending on who you ask, there are people who genuinely believe that Hurts and Mahomes are both injured and they're both playing through injuries. There are other people who both believe that it's too much hype and it's just too much. It's just fake. People feel like it's fake. The belief about Hurts' shoulder and Mahomes' ankle. So I actually have no idea if Mahomes' ankle is going to be a problem. I think the Bengals did a horrible job in the second half of the AFC Championship game, forcing Mahomes to scramble around in the pocket. They kept flushing him out of the pocket, and Mahomes kept taking those windows, and even though he was limping along, he was still gaining yards. I'd like to see the Eagles chase him around the pocket, make him pivot inside the pocket itself. Then we'll find out how good that ankle really is. But Scott and Galloway, I appreciate the question, but the truth is that there are people out there who believe that Mahomes' ankle and Jalen's shoulder are legitimate concerns heading into this game. And there are other people who think the whole thing is a fugazi and that it's just all fake news. So, Scott, depends on who you ask. I tend to just say, I don't know who's telling the truth, because of the fact that I think a lot of people have agendas. And what I'm noticing is that it's the people who are supposed to be the objective reporters who are reporting that Mahomes' ankle and Hurts' shoulder are concerns, and it's the people who are the subjective analysts are the ones who are saying that the shoulder and the ankle is not a big deal. So read into that what you will. Joey D. and Ventnor chimes in and says, I think the Eagles win 27-23. That's Joey D. popping in his score on a Wednesday. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 27-23. Now, two things that score. Number one, that means the Eagles cover the spread and the game hits the under. It also means it's probably a competitive, interesting game. So I think that's kind of what my biggest thing, I mean, yes, you want the Eagles to win. You want your hometown team to win. But ultimately, you want the Super Bowl to be a competitive, interesting game. And one of the problems with Super Bowl history is that it has not always been a competitive, interesting game at times. Speaking of history, so I was heard here on 97.3 ESPN last night, LeBron James broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record. And I hate the fact that the next day on every television station, ESPN, ESPN2, FS1, NBA TV, is LeBron the greatest of all time? LeBron James is not the GOAT, because let's be realistic. Nobody can agree on a baseline of what makes somebody the greatest of all time. It's very simple to me. LeBron James has the greatest resume in NBA history. Michael Jordan is the greatest winner in NBA history, and Kareem got the scoring record without the three-point shot. End of story. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night.
Our locally owned and operated small businesses are the heartbeat of our community, and the 97.3 ESPN South Jersey industry aces stand out as leaders in their fields, like Broadlee's